Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here. Grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day, folks. Guys, forgive me. Still working with my mouth. I've actually resorted to. I started adjusting the basses on my own with my Dremel. Probably not the best idea I've ever had, but I'll go very slow, very careful. And I saw what they were doing, and it's basically the same thing that I'm doing. And they need a lot more work. So I'm trying to make it bearable so I can at least speak and not dislodge them constantly as I do. But one step at a time, guys. Guys, thank you for being here with me today. Please subscribe, give the video a like, and leave me a comment. And by all means, share it with anybody that might get something out of it. Beyond that, guys, thank you all so much for being here. It means the absolute world to me. And guys, forgive me, I get the sun in my eyes a little bit. But hey, it is what it is, man. Progress, not perfection, as I always say. And I keep coming back because consistency is part of my message. And I'm trying to let you guys know, and I'm trying to remind myself that I'm the same person every day. And that's beautiful, right? That's how we grow. When I was all over the map in my former life, I didn't grow. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But the Just for Today NA meditation is risking vulnerability. As we grow, we learn to overcome the tendency to run and hide from ourselves and from our feelings. And boys, that sum up my former life really, really well, okay? If you guys seen my testimony, and I didn't get into all of it, but I grew up in a kind of a messed up home. My father was a raging alcoholic who drank himself to death. I was his bartender from the time I was 8 to 12. So, I served him every drink he had for the last 4 years of his life that killed him. And that messed my head up a little bit, as a kid. And again, I understand now that it wasn't, my fault in any way, shape, or form. But as a child, I'm trying to process these things. And at the same time, after my father passed away and my mother, being a gambling addict, she took the life insurance and abandoned us and took off. So I didn't really have anybody to talk to. And at the same time, we had younger siblings that we were trying to raise, and we were trying to keep it together for them. And then there was the outside people, and again, I didn't want my family being broken up, so we tried to make it look like we didn't want to draw any attention to us. And even though I did that by the other thing was I wanted people to think I wasn't hurting and I wasn't weak, so I put on this crazy, out of control, larger than life persona. And it was all to hide my feelings and hide the fact that I didn't know what to do and I didn't have the answers, but I wanted it to look like that I did. So again, this is something that I dealt with until this rebirth that I'm going through right now, this beautiful experience I'm going through right now. And it's because I'm willing to be vulnerable. But I'm going to back up a little bit here. So, yeah, I didn't know how to process all my emotions as a young adult. Between dealing with the loss of my dad, we talked about that. So, yeah, I would constantly, just be a ridiculously wild kid. So much so that people were afraid of me. Like, literally, guys, people were afraid to get in my cars. My best friends wouldn't ride with me. And I just pull all these crazy stunts to keep people at bay. Because I figured if I looked like I was wild and having a good time, and that people would think I had it together and I knew what I was doing. And then clearly it was a cry for help. But again, I was a child, guys. I didn't know. But the problem is, I started, as my persona got larger than life, I started trying to live up to it. And the reason I bring this up is because this is something that literally has caught up with me until I've just gotten ahead of it now. I started getting attention, the wrong attention, from from the police and officials, and that started me getting arrested. I mean, I was the only kid in town that, by the time I graduated high school, I had been arrested like 27 times, or more, 30-something some odd times. I think 20, 21, 22 times just my senior year alone. And guys, that's insane, right? And then I go out and I go to college and I get this, I graduate top of my class in college, I come back, get a good job, and then immediately lose it because of my license issues. And that's something I've dealt with for decades and decades, right? And it was always because, guys, at any point I could have been vulnerable, asked for help, and arrested this. But by refusing to be vulnerable, by trying to make everybody think that nobody could touch me and I had everything under control, I just created this whirlwind of bullshit that just kept up with me and chased me for decades and decades. And that's terrible, guys. I look back at it now and I'm like, especially knowing what I do now by being, so basically by doing this channel, by going to meetings, by speaking about my story, my experience, I'm being vulnerable today. And that has been so beautiful for me because you know what? Other people see things that I don't, and they offer me advice, and they offer me opinions, and they offer me opportunities that they think are either going to A, help me, or B, that will be a good fit for me. and they see things in me that I don't necessarily see in myself. So it's opened up this beautiful new world to me where I'm getting all these new experiences and I'm learning all these new things. And my life is just progressing beautifully today. And a huge part of that is because I've become willing to be vulnerable. Then when I started this channel and I realized that I could really do some good by encouraging other people, that made me fully welcome to be vulnerable. And that's the thing, guys. Everything we look at as being liabilities can be turned into our greatest strengths when we're willing to get out of our own way, when we're willing to, and again, for me, prayer and meditation, that was the biggest thing for me, guys. That gave me a firm foundation from which to start building. And again, I'm still building. We're still early on here. And like, I keep thinking I only have 6 months, but no, I'll have 5 months coming up in another couple of weeks. And I look back and realize what I've managed to do in these 5 months. And like, it's amazing to me and it's beautiful to me. In fact, I'm willing to share and I'm willing to use my vulnerability to let some, because that's the thing, guys. When I go into meetings, there's a lot of people from halfway houses and just getting out of rehab that come into meetings, right? And I may not have a whole lot of experience, but I've got a good 5 months of really solid putting things together and beautiful blessings and resources and things I've researched from the channel. And by, like, I come walking in there and people see I'm driving the truck and I talk about the business and they're like, they think I've got it together, right? And I do to a point, but here's the thing. Then I start speaking and I let them know that just a few short months ago, I was sitting in the same seat they were, just walking out of rehab, thousands of dollars in debt, not knowing if I was going to keep my home, not knowing what to do about my job, all the same concerns that they have. And then they see what I've managed to do and they come up and they ask me, how have you done this? And I explain it to them, and that makes me feel so good, right? I realize that by being willing to be vulnerable, I'm able to help somebody else along the way. And again, for those of us in recovery in the halls of AA and NA, that's what it's all about. We understand that we keep what we have by giving it away, and we find huge, at least myself, and I know so many others, and I don't like to speak for others, but I see it in so many people that come to the meetings regularly. We get to sit, and somebody's been watching me do it. Watching me get my shit together has made them happy, and I understand that now, because as I watch other people put their lives together and make these great milestones, you feel the pride. Like, you feel like you're walking their journey with them, and it's just this beautiful little community that we built. And again, this has been going on for 100 years in AA and NA for how long NA's been around. But it's so new to me, and it's because I was willing this time to do whatever it takes to stay sober. And I understood, and we didn't understand right away, but I understood shortly thereon that in order to stay sober, I had to start building a life that I actually wanted to participate in. And that's been huge. It's been beautiful. And the thing is, now I feel like I've cracked the code. I've said 100 times that understanding that by being of service, by being willing to go out of my way, and then again, I feel like I got a huge leg up because I have this YouTube channel, and this is our community, guys. But as you guys know, I challenge myself daily to go out, and in my everyday life, I look for opportunities to learn lessons, to have content to make a video about every day. And what that's doing is it's making me pay closer attention to the world around me, to look for opportunities to help other people. And it's just making me a better person. And that's beautiful. Like I said, it's this little dance with the universe, God, divine, spirit, Buddha, Allah, however you choose to give reverence. But it's amazing to me, right? And what it is, it's making me live intentionally. It's making me accept and love my vulnerability, because now I'm so incredibly proud of what I've done and what I'm putting together that I don't mind sharing where I've come from, the mistakes I've made in the past, because I like somebody else to know that no matter how bad they're feeling about what they've been through, that it doesn't define them. As soon as they make changes and they start making good decisions, start moving forward, all that stuff becomes the place from where you started your comeback. And it's just that much that much further you've made it, and that much more impressive on what you've done. And that's the beautiful thing. It takes that shame and that guilt and it just washes it all away. Because you understand that addiction and alcoholism is an epidemic. It's something that so many people deal with. And when you get to be on the plus side of it, on the recovery side of it, you beat the devil. You've literally overcome something that kills so many people, and it's almost a responsibility at that point to reach out and lend a hand to somebody that's, underneath you or just coming up behind you. Nobody's underneath you, but I'm saying somebody that's coming up behind you trying to find their way. And then there's people that have, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years that are so far ahead of me that are showing me my next steps. And that's beautiful, right? It's just, it's just community. It's literally the definition of community. All of us getting together, putting our 2 cents in, and building something better than the sum of its parts. And that's amazing. I think we've gotten way off topic again, but you guys know I do that every video. It's all part of the fun, right? See that? Look at that. I just smiled. Woohoo! Talk about progress. And I think a little bit of adjustment that I did is actually allowing these to stay in, so at least they have not dislodged. I have to talk a little slower. I'm going to be a little more careful, but that's something I need to do anyway. And yeah, man, it's progress, guys. Progress is such a beautiful thing, right? So, yeah, I don't even know where we're at with this, but yeah, so all right, so today the affirmation at the end of it was, today I am so okay with vulnerable. No, actually, you know what? Yeah, today I'm willing to be vulnerable was the affirmation. I curtailed it, tailored it to fit my situation. Today I'm so okay with vulnerability because it's made me realize I'm just like everybody else, more or less. It's allowed me to heal what needed healing, and made room for so much growth by being willing to be vulnerable. I found out that I'm an example. I can be an example, right? I can be a light for those who need it, those who are still in the darkness. And that's given me my soul purpose. It's given my life purpose. It's given my life meaning. And then again, it challenges me to reach that next plateau and then step beyond that one every time that I do, so that I can continue to grow and progress. And not only for myself, but for those around me, for those that are behind, coming up behind me. Guys, it's absolutely beautiful, right? And so many people look at vulnerability as being a weakness. It takes immense strength to be vulnerable, and it helps so many others. Sometimes that thing that you're so afraid to say is something that could be holding somebody else up so much that they're unable to move forward. And then by you're being willing to admit that you have the same insecurity, fear, whatever, you may open the door for somebody else to reach out and ask for help, and that's that's so commendable, right? I'm not saying it's happened to me. I'm just saying, typically we find that the things that bother me bother you, bother him, bother her. And guys, when you're willing to be vulnerable and share your fears, you may find your answers to overcome your fears, or you may help somebody else along the way. It's such a beautiful thing, guys. And just because you're willing to be part of something, you're willing to understand that, you're not weak, you're not less than. We're all, the same. We're all different, but equal, right? We're all the same. We share a lot of the similar struggles, and we can find a lot of similar solutions, and that's a beautiful thing. But it all starts with being willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. And I hope all of you will. And I will continue to be so and do so for myself. Guys, I'm going to call that I think that's a pretty good video for today. I've mostly made it through without too much trouble, so I feel really good about that. Progress every day, guys, and that's a beautiful thing, right? Guys, always remember, God loves you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you more than you could possibly imagine. Be blessed. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow.